Hi guys, I'm going to do a bit of a different one this evening. Haven't done anything for a little while because if I'd carried on doing the standard Linux distros that I have been doing, it's all going to be pretty much the same old, other than possibly having to briefly go into the terminal to install certain programs. But all the installs are pretty much the same, pretty straightforward, pretty basic. I'd dare to say even easier than Windows to set up. So I'm going to give something a little bit harder a go, something called Arch Linux. Now this one is definitely not for the beginners. I think even I'm going to struggle with this one, but I'm gonna give it a go. But I think it's going to be a bit of a fun one, if not maybe a little frustrating. But as I'm going in this completely blind, I don't know what to expect. I've done no research on it, so will be referring to the internet quite a bit through this video. So there will be a couple of pauses where I find out the answers. I will pop the answers up on screen as well. So yeah, let's give it a go anyway. I've already made the install media, went to the actual Arch website itself to download the ISO, which was only 1.5 gig, quite a small ISO, so it's pretty stripped down and clean, but I think it will get bigger because I've got to add certain components to get it to actually work. Like, I don't think it comes with a GUI. Could be wrong. Like I say, I'm coming in completely blind. I've plugged the media into the machine, so I just need to restart and boot up into the USB, and I'll see you there. Okay, here I am in my boot startup. I need to now find out which boot setting. There we go. It's at the bottom. My USB boot drive. I'm going to click on that, and let's start setting this up. Okay, with speech. So it's going to be an Arch Linux install, medium, UEFI boot shell, and yeah, I think that's what I'm going to start with. I don't need no speech. I am not deaf, contrary to what my wife thinks. Well, ex-wife thinks. So yeah, here we go. Right, okay. I've had to go away and look at a couple of things. I was completely out of my depth. I just had to do like half an hour's research to work out actually how to do this. So I've wrote some notes down. So I'm just going to restart the setup and go through the install process. Hopefully this one's going to work now. So again, John UDIS 5 and let it basically go into Arch install, or setup of the install anyway. Once that's set up, I'm going to start. I now know how to hopefully find my Wi-Fi password, Wi-Fi device, the actual Wi-Fi network, and the password for it. I can enter how I start usually anyway with most installs. But with this being via the keyboard and not a GUI, it's a little bit different. So I'm just going to let this come up, which it is coming up slowly. This is an old machine, so it's going to take a little bit of time to actually set everything up to get ready. Once it boots up, I will then start going through everything. Right, okay, we are now back in to the very start of Arch Linux install, and again I now try and set up or make sure my network card is it's a USB card, USB reader, sorry, USB stick thing, whatever it is, it's a USB Wi-Fi card. Then that way, hopefully, I can get it up and running, get myself connected to the internet before I start going through the rest of the install, because if I want to install a desktop environment, I am going to have to download that whilst it's installing, which I'll show you that later anyway. So first command is iwctl, which I got right last time, and then you press the enter, and it gives you into the IWD network manager sub commands. So you should be able to put device list, press enter again, and there's no devices. Why is there no oh, I know why. I forgot to put my USB drive in. Right, hang on, let me just go fit this in. Give me a second. I forgot to put my Wi-Fi adapter in, so give me a second and I'll pop that in now. Famous last words. Can't find it. There we go. Right, now I might have to reboot again. Oh no, there we go, we found it. That's why I couldn't get on the internet last time or anything, or find any networks, because there was no devices there, no Wi-Fi device. So okay, now it's coming up as WLAN 0, which is perfect. That's what I want. So now to scan for networks, I need to type station space WLAN 0 and then scan, and it should give me a list of the networks that are available to me, which it doesn't. Why not? Oh no, it's scanned. Now I've got to get the networks. Station WLAN 0 get networks. No station on device. Okay, so it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Again. Why not? Station 0 scan. Oh, I see why it didn't work. I typed the wrong thing. Good job. It doesn't kill it completely on one wrong move. Nope, put it around at 0. Get networks. And there we go. It comes up with all the available networks around by me, which is brilliant. So that's good. So, so we go, and then to actually link into a Wi-Fi network, we hit station WLAN 0, connect, and then which one is it now? I'll find the right, that one. Then it is now, once I type this in, because that's my network, it should ask me for the Wi-Fi password. Hoping. So, because it's got it's an open network, it should be fine. It will ask me for the password. So, to find that out now, I'm going to try and ping a website. So it's ping google.com. Now hopefully it should come up with something, which it doesn't. So is it that one then? We went wrong. Oops. No, follow the command. I wonder if it's not happy because it's an open network. Possibly could be. So, bear with me a second. Come back here in a second. So, session. And 0. Red. Me. 5. Okay, I don't know what was happening in that last clip. It seemed to be jumping around quite a lot and the audio wasn't matching the video. Hopefully I've sorted that out now. I've now put a password on my Wi-Fi network. So I'm going to go through these steps again. Well, I say these steps, the last couple of steps. So again, station WLAN 0, connect, Redmi A5. Now hopefully it'll bring up passkey now. Oh, hang on, might not forget the right name up. Yay! Okay, this is good. So now I'm going to put my password in. Hopefully that's done. So I'm now going to try the ping. And what should happen is a couple of bits of information should come up. And there's no... It's still been a pain in the backside. I'm getting rather annoyed at this. Bear with me a second. Just had a thought. It might be because I'm not putting the www dot in front of it, so try again. Simple mistakes maybe. Hopefully it gives me it now. Nope, still invalid commands. So I just don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, I think I missed something. So at this point, what I should be doing is typing exit to actually get out of the network command file structure. So now I should be able to ping google.com and stuff should come up. And there we go. This is exactly what I'm wanting. So yeah, I am now connected to my network, so I'm connected to the internet, which is brilliant. Thank the Lord for that. Like I say, I'm not an expert on this. I'm winging praying it. I'm going to keep on going back to a certain video. I'm going to link that video in to my description. It is an absolutely brilliant way to, a simple way, an easy way to learn how to install Arch Linux. Now I'm connected to the network. I should just be able to type Arch install, and it will start going through the install setup. Fingers crossed. Yep, it's going on through the install. So I'll come back up. Oh, all the sub menus are back up here. Now you've got to go through each one of these individually. So your language is English. Then you go down to the local. Percent. No. Yeah, English. Keyboard layout. Enter again. Then you've got to press UK. Well, for me, I've got to change it to UK. Local language is English, UK, wherever that is. If I can find it. No, these are all English, aren't they? Oh, that's Spanish, isn't it? Oh, you know. I hate this rubber. I hate this lot. English. GB. There we go. When it changes from UK to GB, it's a bit strange. Local encoding. I'm not going to change that. We're not going to change the console fault. Then you go back on that. Then your mirrors and repositories. So you're going to select your region for what's closest to you, which will make the downloads a little bit quicker than rather trying to get something from the other side of the world. So I'm just going to wait for it to load the regions, and then I'm hoping it means, oops, wrong way around. UK for me. I'm not going to add any custom servers, optional repositories. I'm not going to bother any of them for now. I may have to put them later on, so I'm going to be messing around with this one for a little bit. Custom repositories, which I'm not going to bother with. Cancel that, so go back again. I've got a bloody moth flying around my ears. This configuration. Now here's where you've got to set your partitioning up. Now for basic users, use the best effort default. It sets it all up for you like it does on a standard Linux distro. So that's the easiest way to do it. If you want to manually partition it, to change, if you want to change the sizes or you want to create different swap drives or add-on drives, you can do the manual partitioning or a pre-mounted configuration, which you can make. I'm just going to do default. You've got to make sure you get the right hard drive. Now here's where I should say, always say at the beginning, make sure you've got nothing on your hard drive that you need. This will wipe your hard drive, will wipe any information on there, so any files or anything like that that you want on there, get them off before. So it's going to be Kingston. Now file system, if you're not aware of what you want to really do, you should really just hit the extension port. That only gives files up to the size of 4 gigabytes, I believe. I'm going to go BTR FS because I know what that is. That's the usual. That's your standard Linux file system. So I'm going to hit that. Don't want to do it with any different default structure. Some volumes the default structure. No, I don't want to do that. Would you like to use a control or disable? I'll disable it because I'm not bothered about compressing the drive in any way, shape, or form. Maybe I should, but it's just to mess around one, so I'm not overly bothered. Separate partition from home. No, I don't. LVL, how's that? Full layout, yeah. Yeah, okay, that's same again. Disk encryption, I'll run through that, then go back. Swap drive is enabled, you'll leave that as it is. Bootloader, systemd, boot, I think you can change it to grub. If you're going to be using multiple versions of Linux on the same machine, grub may be offering later on the day, but as this is just going to be a standalone system for me on this at this moment in time, I'm just going to leave it as systemd. It's the easiest one. Well, it's one that I know of anyway. I don't know any of the other things, so keep it systemd. Unified kernel language is native enabled. Back that up. Kernels as Linux, yes. Post name. Here's where you can change your name. But to be fair, I'm not that bothered. I'm going to keep it as select, but you can put whatever name on there. Authentication, root password. Now where you've got to put a root password in. And confirm the password. User account. Now yes, I would add a user. I wouldn't recommend using the machine as a sole root user access. So I've got the user, just my name. It's invalid. Maybe it's too short. No idea why, what we're doing wrong. Oh, well, let me do it. So, how do I use then? No, I'm doing wrong there. Anyway, I'll just cancel that and just keep on going. No UTF devices found. Profile. Right. Yeah, right, here we go. I'll go back and go through that a bit better. Why is it not? No, so back. So your profile. This is set up how you're going to use your machine. So you want to click enter twice and it takes you to the desktop, which gives you a standard graphical user interface, and you'll be able to choose which GUI you're going to want to use. So press enter again, it'll give me a long list, well, I say a long list, quite a big list of what types of GUIs I want to use. So I could use Cinnamon if I want, the Cosmic Desktop, the GNOME, Hyperland, anything like that. I like KDE Plasma, so I'm going to select KDE Plasma. Plasma Meta is recommended, so if it's recommended, I usually tend to keep to it. Can make a lot of problems go away. We just ask what it wants to do. Now the graphics driver, it's going to be Vulkan. Where's it gone? Open source. AMD ATIOS open source. It's going to put me Vulkan Radeon Guardian. Oh no, this is an Intel on this one. Which machine I was doing it on. So Intel open source. Rita Plasma login, yes, on that. Applications. So here's where you can start putting on all your audio. For the audio, I would go Pipewire. It integrates a lot of things very easily, very quickly. I've not had any problems with Pipewire. Using OBS to capture everything, it's usually Pipewire, so I'll use Pipewire. I don't have a printer, so I'm not so bothered about that. I'm not bothered about firewall at the moment. I'm not bothered about additional fonts. So if you go back on that, network configuration, copy the ISO network configuration to installation. Now that way, once it installs, it remembers what configuration you've set up, and it will just automatically work, or should automatically work. So, Pacman, Cisco, enable, put output, that way kit. So back out additional packages. So here's where you look through your repositories, add any extra straight away from everything. I don't know. Well, yeah, on 7-zip, that's definite. I think I can add things later on. I'll show you how to do that later on. So, but I'm going to 7-zip straight in initially because then I've got a zip file extractor. Time zone. Now here's where I change this to South Africa. South America. Antarctica. Why would we in Antarctica? Asia. Atlantic. Australia, Canada, Cuba. And GMT plus 1 because it's summertime. Automatic centering, that enabled. Now here's the configuration, come back at another time to actually install it. But I'm just going to go straight to the install and let it run through. Now here's where it'll ask you if you definitely want me to do this because it's basically like your hard drive. So you hit yes, and now it's starting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's out running through. This is what the install phase like it is on any other Linux distribution. Only thing is it's going to scroll down as text rather than a graphical user interface with a bar streaming across. So I'm just going to let this run through, and once we get to the other side and it's finished installing, I'll come back to you. What the fuck, man? here's where I needed the internet. It's downloading a lot of the packages extra, as well as the desktop environment GUI. It's also doing updates on kernels and stuff like that already. So now it's finding errors, but don't know why, but it's installing stuff now. So hopefully, because it's finding errors, it might not go through properly, but we'll see. I'll see on the next part. Okay, now the main installation is gone through. Took a couple of attempts on a couple of things because my internet connection wasn't the best for some bizarre reason for 10 minutes. Took about 20 minutes to install, which isn't overly bad. Now here's where you get to exit the Arch install, reboot the system, or chroot into the installation for post-installation configurations. Now I'm just going to go straight to reboot the system. But as you reboot the system, you've got to make sure you get the USB stick out first, or it can reboot back into the installation files. So you don't really want to do that. But I'm just going to hit reboot and see if it does that or not, just to give you an example. And if it doesn't, it's fine. But you should really remove the media. So now we're going down through the shutdown procedure, and hopefully it will just do a straight reboot and go straight into the KDE Plasma GUI password. Yeah, so I can put the password in to get onto the actual desktop. So here's what I'm hoping anyway. If it doesn't do that, something's wrong. Yeah, and it's worked straight away. So you can work here. You can reboot into your BIOS or go straight into Arch Linux. I'm going to hit the Arch Linux, and hopefully it should boot into the GUI. So gone through it all its checks. I've got a mouse, and there we go. So I think if I just press that, nope, it's not letting me do that. Username. So it should be Arch Linux. And then the password should be, if this doesn't let me in, I went wrong somewhere, and that will be when it won't let me add a username properly. No, so that's what's happened on that. So I'm going to redo the install and try and get it back into the. Oh, okay. Why is it not really doing it? Or was it capital A? I don't know what's going on. Or was it Lee? Did I change it to Lee? Can't remember what I did. No. Okay, so literally I've done something wrong somewhere. I'm going to go through it all again, and it shouldn't be so hard this time. And hopefully I can get the interface back up. I'll pop in when I'm re-adding a username. And I think that's what I've done wrong. I just haven't put a username in, and that's what the problem is. Okay. Okay, I've now just done a reinstall of Arch. It was the fact that I didn't add a user. The reason why it won't let me add a user is because you can't add capital letters or spaces or anything like that. So now I've done that, I'm hoping I can now get into the desktop environment in Arch. So Arch has come up, hit X, and hopefully it'll now come up with the KDE Plasma screen after it's done all its checks, where I can just type the password in and I can go straight into it then. It's looking quite good, to be fair. Yes, it's And now there we go, I'm actually up involved, but why is it gone on to two separate? One second, let me just sort out my display configuration so you can see what I see. Replica of, yeah, try that, keep that, and there we go. So with every other version of, what's going on here? Why is that? It seems to have messed it up a little bit. Well, it's not, you can see what I've done. That's pretty much what it was. Like any of the version of Linux, it comes with a welcome center first. So I'm going to put the next. Has all your keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that if you want to have them. You can find different apps, which is on the App Store, which I thought would be nothing but terminal, so it seems like the setup in Arch is terminal. But we get different apps through App Store. Just finish that, and then I think we'll just see if we do OBS and see what it says. But this looks quite promising. Okay, I had to close the video off a little bit shorter than what I was wanting. There's still extra pieces about installing new programs, but I seem to have a bit of problem with video and audio syncing up on my recording at the moment. I have a feeling it's to do with the amount of RAM that's on this machine. It's not quite enough, so there's going to be an upgrade on that. But I will be adding another video soon on Arch. Well, another two videos. One will be going over the actual install phase again, and the second part will be actually adding programs onto Arch itself, which wasn't as hard as what I thought it was going to be.